people of the internet, this is REDCUBE Everything coming at you, and just like always, before we get started here, I'd like to quickly look over everything and make sure everything is going towards plan. But obviously, there was a little bit of an issue with the overlays last week, and I think we might somewhat see the same issue today, as the keybinds that were put down for the overlay just aren't working properly. So if you guys do see some things on the overlay are a little bit uneven or just kind of in the wrong area, don't worry, we are working on it, and I'm almost 100% positive by next game, by next week, or just whatever kind of follows, we should have that all addressed. It's just a lot of new things have been added, and some things, they just don't line up properly. Also, just looking at the camera, you guys can, I guess, see a little bit more. The camera I got is a little bit wider screen. I still have to figure that out, but everything else does look fine. All the players are in the match, so everything is going to be ready. My name is REDCUBE Everything. Today I'm going to be joined here by Wolf. He's actually the manager of Sharx, and this is going to be Sharx versus Bandiesel. So, Wolf, introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, I'm Wolf, former comp player in ESA. Also was the coach of Sharx for a little bit. Really kind of looking forward to this game. I know Sharx came off a bit of a loss last night in ESA, and they're really out for blood today. I know for sure. So yeah, and definitely should be an interesting game. Yeah,
and something to note is Sharx has not lost yet. This has been an absolutely pitch perfect season for them thus far. But I mean, you got to be questioning, when is it going to break? When is kind of this just everything that looks so good, when is the bad things going to start coming out? When is everything going to start looking a little bit dirtier than it really is? And going up against Bandiesel, Bandiesel is one of those teams that have been kind of hiding in the back, have been behind the scenes, haven't really made themselves a prominent figure in the league. And I think that could be an advantage for them. Going up against Sharx, Sharx obviously is the top dog right now, right next to Chroma Knight. I think Sharx, everybody's watching Sharx, everybody looks at what they do, maybe try to do what they do because obviously it's working. Whereas Bandiesel, on the other hand, they've been on the back burner, nobody's really paid attention to them, and they could slip one right out from underneath Sharx. But obviously, the map bans have just came in, and again, I would like to just apologize for any odd overlays that happened today. There was a couple issues earlier this morning. If things do kind of go downhill, I'll try to fix it as quick as possible, but there is just a lot going on. But the map bans have just come in, so I will show this screen for you guys real quickly. So there they are. The maps that we are going to be playing are going to be the first map of Consulate, the second map of Oregon, and the third of Border. Just looking at those three maps, Wolf, what do you see from that?
I mean, I know for a fact that both, Oregon and Border are maps that we're very strong in, at least, the Sharx guys are. And, I really haven't seen them play on Consulate too much. So, I'm really kind of curious to see what strats they bring in. I can say this, at least, these guys have been scrimming almost 8 hours a day for a little bit. And they've been scrimming against SK, and, Nix from SK has really been helping with strats and stuff like that. So, they're getting a lot of Pro League insight. I'm hoping that the information they're getting from there, they're putting to use. And I know Consulate, for a lot of, Pro League teams is, pretty contested. You don't see one team that's always super dominant on Consulate. Yeah. So I'm really curious to see kind of what they break out and how Bandiesel tries to counter it.
Consulate is one of those maps that you see, you're either really good on it one day, and then the next you can be absolutely terrible on it. It's a very, very fluid map, which is completely different from what we see of Oregon and Border. Oregon and Border are very, very linear. It really does come down to, especially Oregon is probably the most linear map in the entire game. That's why it's picked so often. It's just who's going to win control of that trapdoor. They're probably going to win the round if it's the downstairs defense. It's things like that that change the Border game, whereas on Consulate, it can be many gunfights, many angles, many things that come into play. Some teams don't like that. Some teams dwell on that. Which team is it going to be here that dwells on that? Is it going to be Sharx or Bandiesel? That is going to be the major question. But obviously, I think the players have waited long enough. We're going to be going right into it here. First map onto Consulate. We will see you guys there. All right, guys, here we go On to Consulate, and my favorite part of the match is going to be the map, not the map bans, the operator bans, and just how influential these can be is absolutely shocking, and it's a great thing that has been added to this entire league and just the entire Rainbow Six community. Let's see if we can get right into it here. I'm going to say Glaz or Blackbeard off as an attacker.
Yeah, I mean I know for a fact, even with the new recoil in there for Glaz, Sharks have never been a really big fan of countering Glaz. Oh, rehost possibly, but it's really kind of something that they never liked playing against, both Glaz and Blackbeard. But I know they have a specific hatred for Glaz because it's very hard to counter him. You throw some smoke grenades in there and you can't really fire back. So that's definitely a huge disadvantage on the defending side. And then here we come and see Blackbeard again, one of those people who's banned very, very consistently.
Yeah, I mean, Blackbeard is just that operator who can just completely change a game on the flip of a coin because he's so good at just winning those one-on-one gunfights. You peek around a corner and you see a Blackbeard, you're not expecting to win that. Obviously, Mira coming off as well. If you're looking for originality in these bans, well, you're not going to get it here, as it's been just kind of the 3 most picked bans, and possibly an Echo coming off here. It would just kind of do the exact same thing as actually, it's going to be Valkyrie. On Consulate, I do expect that.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot more outside cams, things like that. But it's very interesting. You of course you heard about the Blackbeard nerf that came out a little while ago, and I was watching not Penta, Pengu talking about it. Oh yeah, shout out to them by the way.
Oh, yeah,
Penta's
G2.
now G2.
Yeah,
that's pretty nuts.
And
But they were talking about it, and the shield nerf, the only 2 weapons that are affected by it on the defense are Valkyrie's gun and Alibi's gun. Both take 1 additional bullet, but the rest of the guns are exactly the same, and they made his gun a lot stronger and they made him faster. So although they nerfed the DMR, they didn't create, they made his assault rifle way better. So in a way, it's kind of a Blackbeard buff because he's not really not really affected too much when it comes to most guns. So it's really kind of interesting to see. That was the way Ubisoft tried to do it. And I'm curious to see if they're going to keep trying to run that dude in the ground, which I know Kickstar would be pretty happy with.
Yeah, they really just kind of have bullied Blackbeard to a point where it's just kind of like, what else can you do to him? And guys, I actually do apologize. The operator bans aren't coming up on the screen. That will be coming up probably as we just flip onto the next kind of go into the next round here. There's just a little bit of an issue with the browser source there, but that should be addressed fairly quickly. But we're going to be getting right into it here on the upstairs defense, actually not opting to go downstairs. You have seen a couple teams, they choose either upstairs, they choose downstairs. It really is just a matter of preference on this map, especially Consulate not being played that often. It really is no surprise that you're going to see the upstairs, sometimes downstairs, but I think Sharks just kind of sticking with tradition, sticking with old reliable. It's kind of what their play style is. That's why I think we are going to be seeing a fairly consistent
I would really
upstairs.
love somebody to, pull out one of those power moves and just go, first floor, first round, first floor.
Yeah.
And really, really show them how it's done. But, of course, that's obviously the weakest side. So, it doesn't happen too much.
Yeah, that's definitely not a site anyone's really going to want to choose, especially due to the fact that it's just so much outside presence is going to be inviting the attackers in, and that's not something anybody wants to deal with. And we are dealing with a little bit of a frame drop here, guys. I apologize for that, but I don't think it is anything too significant that we're going to have to reset anything. I think it should just address itself as we go on here. But I will be getting those operator bans addressed very quickly here, so don't worry about that, guys. That will be on the screen very soon. But we do see Box here roaming very, very deep downstairs, far away from sight. And I think he is going to be actually the lone roamer. Everybody else is kind of holding an off-site anchor. Actually, just as I say that, we do see Riddle in the downstairs area as well. So holding downstairs here is a priority for Sharks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really kind of interesting because both Riddle and Reed are kind of new additions to the roster, and we replaced Tugmaster fairly recently, and seeing them get their chemistry in. And the Riddle immediately gets the kill on the Blitz with the SMG-12. That is, it's SMG-12, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Really powerful gun at close range, and he kind of ate a bullet to the face there. But going back to what I was saying, it's a half the roster's been replaced, so it's interesting to see how they're gonna play with this newer roster.
And we're seeing right now, Box has already gotten a lot of gunfights and a lot of pressure as Clix is going to be getting a kill onto Vega. But lots of pressure downstairs, and his downstairs hold has not moved in a single inch. So roam game right now from Sharx is basically impenetrable. It's wasting a lot of time, and it's also being very, very deadly. Not only taking one, but two players from this roam game out of the Bandiesel picture. It's basically gone pitch perfect for Sharx so far. Beta Pratt, though, is able to get a kill onto Reed. That's going to be in sight. And just like that, it's tied up to 3 versus 3. Great trade there. Might have been a little late, but they still got it nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. We still see kind of a strong downstairs. Clix now returning fire onto the Finka, managing to get the kill onto Medtronic, getting that refrag there. Now a 2 versus 3 situation with Sharx in favor. Though IQ and Jaeger both extremely low on health.
Yeah, very, very low, whereas actually both IQ and Thermite are going to be very, very low. Thermite's actually just going to be going right into sight, possibly try to get a plant down, but IQ has the bomb, and IQ's not going to be pushing with him as Jewel is able to get a kill on the Beta Pratt. Thermite is going to get seen, and Riddle with a 2K that round, able to clean that up fairly easily there for Sharx. Great play by them. I mean, that's kind of what we've seen and become accustomed to with this Sharx roster.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Sharx, they do a very good job spreading themselves out. And like you said, wasting a lot of time. You know, Box and Clix, you know, getting that offside roam, you know, not overexposing themselves. And, you know, they're not looking for frags, but, you know, if they can get them, they're very welcome to it. So, you know, that's exactly what you saw. You saw 2 picks off the board pretty quickly. And although they lost some following that, you know, it really kind of slows down the attacker's momentum and a lot of times can stall them out completely. So, you know, excellent play there by Sharx.
Yeah, just absolutely all around just great play there from them. And something as well to note is the fact that when we saw Sharx just kind of pushing that, they were essentially pushing the attackers, which is something you don't really see a defense do. But when they do it, especially Sharx, just how good they've been, it's been almost perfect. They push the attackers, they get in the face of the attackers almost every single time, and it seems as if the attackers just don't know what to do. They get lost in like kind of this roam game and they can't push the site fast enough, and in the end Sharx just kind of walk all over them and then prevent them even from getting any map control, and that's huge play there from Sharx.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we see kind of, you know, again, typical upstairs downstairs, you know, and going in between them as much as you can, really avoiding that first floor. But you know, it kind of looks at the start, you know, you got the barbed wire and stairs. They're going to reinforce garage here. Echo, I'm guessing, is putting that shield down, probably make a rotate behind him to get through to that A site. You know, really, it seems like a pretty standard hold right now.
Yeah, it seems going downstairs obviously is a little bit different from upstairs. Obviously, they are on completely different sides of the site, but it's almost kind of the same map layout. The bombs are kind of in the same locations, and you want to hold it somewhat the same. You want to get a strong roam presence. You don't want them to get site control, because if they get control of that garage area, that's going to be spelling disaster for that defensive team, because trying to get that plant off of garage, this is what I'm saying, if the attacking team gets a plant off on garage, as we actually see Gucci has somehow lost about 50% health here. Don't quite know how that happened, but Box is able to get a kill right away onto Medtronic. It's going to be that upstairs presence with a great shot out there as the Dokkaebi is going to be going down. So no phone calls for the defensive team that they have to worry about. Huge kill right off of the bat. And again, that roam presence has just been so good for this Sharx team.
Absolutely. And you know, it's the Dokkaebi in line. Box really isn't having it. He's saying, you know, get out of the meta. We're not tolerating that, and shut him down pretty quick.
Yeah, and the next thing they have to just get off of the board is those EE1Ds, but we do see playing fairly safe here with the Lion just peeking through the trapdoor. Not really playing anything aggressive, and losing that Dokkaebi so early on, that's a lot of utility wasted, obviously, but it also just is a lot of momentum, because trying to clear those roamers is going to be a lot harder without that phone buzzing. And because the roamer killed the Dokkaebi, I mean, that's just kind of irony, and that just really hurts the offensive team here. So it's still looking really good, as we do see Riddle is going to try to sneak one out again, but just missing it as they just rotated right in front of him. And unfortunately was not able to see the head. I think that was the buck.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it seems to me like the attackers are, you know, they're having a bunch of solo pushes. They're not really pushing too well together.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, sometimes that can work. But I think when you do have a strong roamer presence, like Sharx does right now, you know, being able to get those refrags is very important. And they don't really seem to be doing that.
And
it looks like Lion prepping for a plant. Thermite had the garage open. Let's see if he's going to push in here. Riddle gets to kill into Quackers. as the Thatcher.
And something that's interesting to note here is it's about 56 seconds left, and the defenders, the roamers, haven't even needed to rotate back because there's been zero pressure on site, and any pressure on site is going to be quickly dealt with, as when we are looking at the roamers for that rotate, it doesn't even matter, as the entire Sharks team just shreds the remaining Bandiesel operators, and just like that, 2-0 in favor of Sharks, and they are looking very, very strong. Again, like you said, the attack from the Bandiesel team has just kind of looked disgruntled. It looks kind of all over the place, and there hasn't really been really anything going for them. That is a huge problem that they need to address very, very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's again, it also comes down to the morale thing. And I say this almost every time I cast these games, is that compared to the old style of attack, defense, attack, defense, attack, defense, you're on defense for a long time, or you're on attack for a long time, and if you're not doing good on attack and you keep losing over and over again, your morale goes down, and as you get into those later attack rounds, it just gets harder and harder to pull off a win. Mm-hmm. So I think where you have a lot of these losses in a row, it really can kind of be an issue, not only because you're losing rounds, but just kind of getting demoralized a little bit.
Yeah, and there's just been actually literally zero momentum for the Bandiesel team. And with the new rule change, we are going to be seeing the main floor site here. If you guys aren't familiar with the new rule change, basically there was a lot of issues with a lot of teams where they said they didn't like how it was rounds 1 where you could change sites, so we made it rounds played, but you have to have a 2-site rotation parameter, so it encourages both off-site play, but also it's just a little bit more competitive-based style of play as well.
Yeah, I think it also, shows these teams' ability to strategize, in outside the kind of meta, bomb sites, and being able to do that is really important. Not only really separates, the good teams from the great ones, but also I think adds a bit more interesting play. You see, the attackers having to attack a site maybe more unconventionally than they would, or defenders doing the same thing on the opposite side. And, I think it just allows for a better watchability. Here spawn peeking out the window. I don't think he's going to get one there, having them all spawned on the east side. But, Sharx really getting aggressive on their defense here. Really, trying to get those early round picks.
I mean, that's no surprise from Sharks. We've seen them play Tachanka. We've seen them play Cav. When they get rolling, they get rolling. That's literally all they do. And they just kind of start stomping over the competition. And Bandiesel need to find a way out of that. They cannot get into that snowball effect because Sharks will just continue to play aggressive. Like we see here, Box the Maestro is just going to be playing this window like it's just an inside angle, and he's going to be playing it very, very well. It's slowing down this attack. They just are at a stagnant here, and they are just kind of Bandiesel right now are playing very, very passive, and it's solely due to the fact Sharks are playing so aggressive they just don't know what to do.
Well, I mean, it seems like here they're pushing the admin office really hard. They're really trying to kind of counter what they've been doing before and really get that upstairs control, which is essential for a first floor bomb site. You see Ash Lion up there, Riddle getting the kill on Animatronic with the Pro 90. That is unfortunate. Got 50 bullets in there. One of them might as well hit. But again, we still have that Lion and that Jackal up there pressuring, and Buck as well pressuring the main desk there.
And we see the entire attacking team, the entire offensive team has been kind of conjugated into this one side of sight, onto this east side of the building. And this is just going to bottleneck the entire offense. If Sharks recognize that, they're just going to pick these guys off one by one like it's skeet shooting, because they're just going to keep running into their angles. And right now, I think that's what we're going to probably see develop. The E1D is going to roar, but it's not really going to be doing much, as the angles have already been held. As Lion's going to be pushing in right into the crosshairs, like I said, of Box. Box, could he get 2? He does, and there it is. Maestro playing aggressive. The diffuser comes down. Riddle getting one with the Pro 90 as well. It's going to be all up to the Jackal, and Reed is going to be taking down Vega and not even getting a lick of sight, not even getting a taste. Sharks just continue the roam game way too strong.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I really don't think that Bandiesel did very good droning there, and the way you can tell that is how the Lion peaked, right? Mm-hmm. They knew somebody was, above the bomb site there, and I think Lion was going for a flank through connector, that upstairs connector, and because of that, he didn't peek down that hole at all. Maestro was under the desk. If you had droned that, you would have at least seen a peek hole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he didn't bother to even look for that on drones or whatnot, which I think when you do, when you're dedicating that much resources upstairs, you got 4 guys, right? You definitely have enough people to at least drone out. And I think that's really kind of a basic thing that really needs to be done. You notice you can hear a lot of special forces teams in the in the real military. The Rangers, they have a saying called excellence in the basics, and same thing applies for Siege. If you're doing the basics wrong, then you're not gonna get get the job done. But I'm trying to skip over Box. I really don't think I can. Box, this is the second time he's played Tachanka in the league match. Last time, if I remember correctly, he got a 3K, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and then the next round he got another 3K. This was against Seduction. So he's gotten 6 kills as Tachanka.
As the Lord.
And I mean, they say he's unviable, but I mean, Box, he has a 100% win rate with him. Why not play him,
Yeah, I mean, as you saw Jewel just say there in chat, it's the new meta.
Exactly.
It's what Tachanka does. He's ready. He's ready to go. And I think that's just a morale boost for Sharx. I'm sure the attackers are really cowering in fear right now.
The attackers definitely probably don't even want to step foot inside the building, knowing that the
Absolutely
Lord and
not.
Savior is just kind of dwelling in there. So I guess just power play here from Sharx. I really don't know
That's
what
right.
Bandiesel is going to be able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And you kind of see Lion. You saw Lion there, maybe correcting his past mistake and droning. Dukabi not really doing too much on the window there. Okay, now you got 2 drones and admin. They're really think they might have realized their mistake there and are trying to fix that. They droned out Tachanka. Tachanka don't care. He's going for it anyway. There's one on the bathroom window, about to get peeked, I think. Misses the drone onto the window, bounces out. Jackal goes to pick it up. That's unfortunate. That just kind of makes you look silly.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate there from Bandiesel. That's kind of summed up their play so far, just missing things by slight mistakes. And as we do see, Habana, though, is going to be able to gain a kill on the Box. So there goes Tachanka. And power play operator taken off the board, though. Clicks is able to get a trade onto Matronics very quickly. So it is still a 3 versus 4. And Matronic is very confused on exactly how he died. But I'm pretty sure the solution and the answer is you probably got a bullet to the head. And,
yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you saw that angle. Clicks was inside that break room there on top of the refrigerator, and they had opened the top of that wall, and he was peeking over that wall into the window. So when he repelled in the window, he got. So I think it's a really interesting angle that maybe not a lot of teams know about yet.
It's one of those angles that we've actually seen on Villa quite often as well. Just opening up above reinforcements can really just add a lot of line of sights. If you do remember the great REDCUBE grenade kills, so those things can be countered with a couple projectiles and maybe just kind of going on the other side, as those holes do work both ways. But unfortunately, it's not going to work for them. But Bailey Pratt, that's going to work, as he does get a kill onto Jewel, the Maestro, who is just playing a little bit too aggressive, and Bailey is going to make him pay for it.
Yeah, this is definitely something I've kind of seen in the past. Is Sharks, they go up a couple rounds and they try to do some silly stuff like bring out Tachanka instead of trying to close out the right wins. Does it work out for him? I mean, so far it has, but I think sometimes like you said, where Bandiesel's a bit more unproven. They're relatively new to the league, so you never want to underestimate a team.
As Clicks on that roam once again has just become such a threat to this Bandiesel team. Continues to pick off players. Vega is going to be trying to push in. He's going to be trying to land the shots on the Mira, and I don't know how that missed. Not the Mira, that's going to be the Legion, I think. But Baylor Pratt is going to be getting a kill onto Reed, but just like that, Clicks on that roam is able to kill Baylor Pratt. And because Vega is going to be down, it's going to be another win there for Sharks. And just, again, they're continuing their dominance. As you guys are saying, turn up game volume just a tad. No problem. I will get that going for you guys right away here. But what we're seeing just from the play of Sharks is they've gotten their confidence, and that is a recipe for disaster for Bandiesel. If that continues, you're really not expecting, it's like I said, it's a snowball effect, it's a steamroll effect. You're not expecting this Bandiesel team to be strong enough to just kind of overpower this just beast of the Sharks team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the score is 0-4. It speaks for itself, and it's the last round that they're going to be on attack, at least on this map, and it is very demoralizing. You go into defense with a 4-1 or 0-5, and that definitely can affect how you play because everybody starts to get frustrating, communications can break down, things like that. So, sometimes you can have teams of equal skill, and the one who can keep a clear head and really just keep on objective can come out on top.
And something that's also very interesting is when talking about confidence and talking about momentum is when you start losing rounds like this, you start to argue with your teammates. A lot of people try not to do that, but there is just little things kind of come around where saying like someone was peeking an angle too wide, someone did this, someone did that. You're going to start getting angry at your teammates, and the moment you start getting angry is the moment you lose confidence in your teammates, you lose confidence in yourself, and you just stop gelling together as a team. Because I think the biggest thing to point, and the biggest difference between a really strong team and a really just absolutely amazing team is how they can keep their confidence going even in the midst of like really, really bad situations. Because if you start losing confidence in your anchors, your roamers aren't going to be playing as good because they're scared to die, because they're thinking, I'm going to have to rotate very soon. If you start losing confidence in your roamers because they're not doing that, it's just a tunnel effect, and it keeps going on and on and on. That's an example on defense, but I think the same thing is kind of happening on the offensive side of things for Bandiesel right now, and they have to address it very quickly.
I mean, absolutely. And, you know, it's kind of funny. I was watching an pretty old Penta game a little while ago.
G2.
And well, yeah, you know, I'm gonna call him Penta until I think everybody knows. I'm sure some people don't quite know that they're G2 yet, so I'm gonna go with Penta just for now. But until everything's pretty well established. But where it's kind of funny because they really don't have that fluid communication you would expect from pro league team.
Yeah.
They're all yelling at each other and that kind of stuff, and it's really interesting to see how it still works out. Because Fabian's a really good IGL, but
yeah, he's
it's kind of interesting to see that. And you saw Clicks kind of get outdone there by Zofia on the window. That's the big roamer for Sharx now out.
Yeah, the Jaeger off of the board is huge, and it's going to just be Riddle now playing as that Alibi, and Alibi was just a very, very powerful gun, can be dangerous, probably one of the more dangerous operators in competitive, whereas in ranked you don't really see her as much, but in competitive play, with that strong gun and just a gun that's an absolute laser beam, it's really hard to beat her in a one-on-one gunfight, and that's why I think we do see Riddle playing her, as he just does have that slight advantage as he is sitting here in administration office. Could potentially go for the push here, as again, the Bandiesel team pushing from that west side now. They have gotten control of gotten control of the top half of the map, and Riddle could make his presence known here, as he's just making sure that crouch button works.
He's just doing a little dance. He's excited, and you up for a why you got a right to be excited. So I think he's just expressing his. Oh, you saw mute. They're doing it too. Everybody's having a good time on Sharx right now. Yeah, I think it's interesting. You talk about Alibi. It's interesting how both Alibi and Vigil, the two people that, or the two operators that a lot of people will consider very strong roamers, have really kind of horrible gadgets.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious if that's a balancing decision by Ubi or what's going on there. But you saw Clicks getting the kill onto Thermite there. I think he already used his utility, so more of just a fragging loss there. But I think it's interesting to see how Ubisoft balances the odds of these operators. White going down by Thatcher. Smoke went out, didn't quite get him in time. Going to peek the White Van, gets out just in time. Lion getting killed on the read and Clicks. Jewel getting the refrag onto Bailey as Lion. Now a 3v2.
So we do see Riddle approaching here from the backside. Not going to be seen. Anyone is going to be going back up to Spiral, and this is where she will find the Zofia. And just like that, Riddle is able to get Matronic, but the Zofia blast did come off, so it's going to slow down that push just a little bit. Gucci is going to be watching the east stairs here. And with eyes on that diffuser, if he doesn't get taken out, it's going to be a win most likely for the attacking team. It's going to be all up to Jewel here, and that's a very, very tough spot for him, kind of between a rock and a hard place there, and Jewel is not able to win that there. So Bandiesel getting their first round, maybe is that the confidence they need? Is that just kind of what the doctor ordered? Is it going to be enough? That is the question now.
Well, yeah, and I'm not sure it'll quite help on the attack, considering they don't attack anymore, but defense side, it's kind of a fresh start, and hopefully they'll be able to pick it up. And Sharx now two rounds off the win, and already kind of looking like a very similar lineup, at least on the attacking side, as Bandiesel was. A little bit different on the defending side to how Sharx played, with that Aoeah out there, and the Sharx did play Lesion as well, but almost the exact same attacking lineup, so interesting to see what they do.
We are seeing a couple sixth picks come out here. The Mute is going to be thinking about the Bandit, going on to the Pulse, possibly going back to the Bandit here. Nope, staying on the Pulse. So we are going to be seeing just probably some vertical play, obviously some vertical play from the Pulse. That is what he is best at. And could potentially be a dangerous roamer, but with a Lion, with a Dokkaebi to clear that out, It's going to be very, very hard here for Bandiesel to roam. If Sharx uses their utility correctly, those roamers are going to be rotating back to site fairly early on in the match unless they get picked off. So we are seeing 2 roam, actually potentially 3, actually potentially 4 if you do want to consider Legion maybe an offside anchor kind of thing. But yeah, very roam heavy, very 3-speed heavy here for the defensive team of Bandiesel. And
I mean, when you think about it, Legion and Pulse can both be, anchors here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect to see a 4-person roam. Doesn't seem too likely to me. But, in the past, we've seen Sharks have very, very aggressive pushes. Oh, boy. And, because of that, I think a strong roam game against Sharks is really not a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
They get on side so quickly, and then it just becomes a retake situation.
Ooh.
I'm kind of convinced that it would be bad idea, but Matronic getting the kill onto Clix as a Lion extremely early on, spawn peak, very unfortunate. I think Clix probably should have put his drone to better use than pumping the other drone, but, you pay for it, and, oh no, Box just reveling in his teammate's death, Riddle getting the kill on to Pulse, getting rid of a C4 out of the way very early on.
And we just see Matronic, they're kind of fighting fire with fire. We saw spawn peaks from Sharx, aggressive play from Sharx. Matronic says, you know what, guys, we can do the exact same thing. Does get a nice pick onto that Lion. No EU1Ds and no Lion Roars coming out there. But Buck is going to be just going right in. Box is going to be making his presence known in administration. And he's going to be slowly pushing in here onto the right side. Dokkaebi is going to be lighting some shots off. And Box is going to be rotating back downstairs. Possibly going up the stairs behind. Jewel waiting for this anchor from the peak on the, and just as he looks away, unfortunate there for Jewel, the moment he looks away. Is not going to see the Ella, is going to be landing a couple shots, but it's not going to be enough to end her. Quackers is going to be getting a kill onto Box, so there goes down that soft breacher of the Buck, but with 142 still left, already so many people down, this is exactly what a Sharks attack will typically look like. So we do have that Ella in the down but not outstage, so it is essentially a 3v3 here. At the 132 left, now we're starting to see it kind of level off and slow down a little bit, and everyone start to gain their bearings a little bit more.
Absolutely, and you have to remember in comp there's no point, so you never know if somebody's down or not. Well, I mean, sometimes you do, but you can never be 100% sure. So a lot of times you never know if that person is in play. Riddle getting the kill onto Matronic at the middle desk. Now a 2v3 situation. Legion with extremely low health, sitting on the bomb site behind the bomb there, not ready for a flank, but hopefully Maestro can keep the long angle down. As you can see, it kind of bursts into Dokkaebi able to get out of the way. Now opening the hatch, I'm guessing for a rotate, try to get out of there, maybe push up the other stairs.
As we do see it, Legion is actually going to be playing very, very aggressive on lawn desk and gets punished for it, and Sharx going to be taking it onto match point just like that. And guys, again, before I kind of get into the analyzation of that round, if there are a couple problems with the stream, please just let me know. There is a little bit of a delay, so I won't be able to see your feedback as quick as possible. But if there is something wrong, please just let me know, and I will address it as soon as possible. But again, Sharks now on match point. They are looking very, very strong. Bandiesel, they had a really good start to that round. That was actually probably a very ideal start. They got a pick early on the Lion. Taking him out early was huge. Wasn't enough though, and Sharks on match point now. Bandiesel, they have a little bit of confidence, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I'm expecting Sharks to take this map of Consulate.
Yeah, I am as well. At this point, and you see the exact same lineup from Sharks as they had before. You have, Bandiesel's going for an upstairs hold again. A little bit different operator lineup, taking the Echo instead of the Ella, and maybe we'll see a switch off the Maestro here. We do to the Vigil. Another strong roamer. So it seems like they're just kind of switching positions around here. Box going with the Blitz. Oh no. I think Box is a very good player, obviously, but a little bit of meme.
A little bit
of meme going
It's
on.
a lot of good player mixed with a lot of meme, and I mean, you love to see the guys have fun, and that's what it's all really about. So it's always interesting to see what operator Box kind of brings into play. I know Box has specifically asked me that he needs me to spectate him a little bit more because of all of the crazy things he does. So I'll definitely try to keep an eye on him just a little bit more, but can't give him too much attention.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really just kind of expecting to see him just charge into sight if he's picking Blitz.
Yeah.
And maybe get a frag or two, but I'm really interested to see what they have planned for this last round here.
So we do have a Legion, so that is a really good counter to Blitz. Unfortunately, dropping that Ella off of the board, you won't have that trap to kind of set it off. You do have an Echo, though, so there are counters here for the Blitz, but I mean, it's a blitz. It's so hard to counter, and it's one of the most annoying operations to deal with, as he's just making sure that crouch button works and just getting prepped, maybe doing a couple push-ups before he pushes in. He does see the window break, though. Actually, no, he does not. And Jaeger is actually not going to be going for that peek. So, or is he just going to be waiting here? And unfortunately, he is not going to be going for that. So, Matronic not going to be seeing that lightning strikes in the same place twice. So, he's going to just shy off of that for now.
Yeah, definitely a bad move. Lion getting the kill onto Jaeger there. I think Jaeger just disregarded that advice there and just kind of went for it. Really got punished for it, but hey, it happens. Thatcher lost some health. Not really sure how that happened there, but I think Box is just going to have Reed run out for him and really go for some roam clearing.
As we see Box struggling with the camera there, is going to be pushing here through the roam, trying to clear out the roam downstairs. This is typically what you want your blitz to do. It's actually going to be ADSing instead of sprinting with that shield. So kind of interesting blitz play. Vigils might potentially catch him out with his pants down. If he gets behind that blitz, that would be a huge kill for the defensive team. As we do see Lion is going to be pushing here into main stairs. Is Vigil going to push that? Is going to hear. Does hear the blitz though as well. It's going to be flash. Chucks an impact. It's not going to be enough. And Box should be getting the kill, but actually is going to be fragged out there from Vega. Riddle is going to get immediate trade, so that does make it still a 4v3. But a situation you expect that blitz to win. He does lose out in the end, but Gucci does still find the grave 6 feet under. So essentially, it is still in favor here of Sharx.
Yeah, Jewel getting the kill onto the Legion there. Echo with a good angle onto the yellow stairs. Big yellow stairs push from Sharx. Reed is going to go ahead and get that wall into sight. And I'm guessing get ready to push. They get smoked off. They do have a minute left, though, so they have plenty of time to play with. You know, they can really wait that smoke out and maybe even bait some more so that the plant is much easier to get.
And we have seen just kind of almost a bottleneck here for the Sharx team. A lot of them are going to be focused on this side, but I don't necessarily know if the Bandiesel team knows that that wall was opened. So the Echo is going to be in there, could potentially get shot down. There is no IQ because after her nerf, so unfortunately the plant is going to be coming down, but Echo should be able to deal with that quite easily. Is he going to hear it? I don't think so. I think the plant is going to be coming down, and it does. So unfortunately, Echo not able to do his job, and it costs them, as that's going to be the first map going into Shark's favor. Pretty convincing fashion.
You know, I'm not really sure, you know, even if he had echoed that, it would have mattered too much. You know, he would have gotten off the 2 echoes, and then it's still a 2v4 situation. So, you know, very difficult on their end to win that last round. Yeah,
very, very tough. I mean, throughout that entire match, there was just a lot of issues with Bandiesel. They just kind of started losing confidence. We do see Riddle with just a bunch of kills. So that new signing definitely proving to take the place of Tugmaster very, very well. So great plays here all around from Sharx. And that's going to be first map of Consulate in their favor. And we'll be right back as soon as possible as we get map 2 set up. We're going to be visiting Oregon. All right, here we go. Almost immediately on to Oregon here, and on to the operator bands, my favorite part. Let's see what comes out here. Obviously, we saw very, very typical operator bands last map, so I'm not expecting anything different here. I'm probably seeing most likely the same thing coming out from these two teams.
I love how the operator bands are your favorite part. We don't need gameplay. Let's just watch the operator bands.
It's by far my favorite.
All right, I'm expecting a Glaz from Sharx again. Bandiesel with the Blackbeard. You know, like I said, I feel like it's gonna be Blackbeard. Let's go with the predictions here. I think Blackbeard, Glaz, Mira, and Maestro or Echo. I think that's what's gonna be the lineup here.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely what I'm expecting as well. I'm gonna say Blackbeard coming off. Not Blackbeard, Glaz coming off. Never mind. Not gonna be the Blackbeard. Not gonna be the Glaz coming off. Habana. That's a pretty typical ban actually as well. On Oregon,
yeah, absolutely, especially on this map.
Yeah, on Oregon, getting rid of that Habana forces them to utilize their Thermite's just a lot smarter, and that's a very smart ban from Sharx. And I actually love banning Habana and Thermite on Oregon. It sets up a very, very fun match. So unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing that. We're not going to be seeing that, but we are going to be getting rid of one hard breacher off of the board.
Yeah, again, very typical Mira there. Yeah, I mean, Habana, I think out of the two, Habana is definitely probably more useful on this map. But when you think about it, if they reinforce the wall next to hatch, that's two Habanas needed to get that peak open, and then you have another Hibana on one of the meeting hall hatches, and so you can use a Thermite in essentially the same way. And just with the two Thermites, you're able to get all those things open because if you didn't know, you can put the Thermite on the inside of the wall there and be able to get the hatch and the wall. So you can either get all three hatches with Hibana, things like that. But Hibana also good on upstairs, being able to either take out mirrors, or make peak holes and things like that. So only walking holes this game, but again, a very typical ban there.
Yeah, and something that's just kind of very interesting to note as well is just looking at the lineup of Sharx. There's two new players in the mix here, not necessarily new, but also subs. And I say new, but when you try out players, especially on a high-level team like Sharx, these guys have been in this rotation for a very long time. But I think it's their first league match. That's basically a good way to say it. It's their first league match, and they're proven very, very strong.
It's definitely not Riddles.
Riddles played for, he played against, I think it was Pathos, actually. I think he played in the Pathos game that you casted as well.
No, he played for Skeptic. Well, I mean, he might have. He played for Skeptics before he was on Sharx, which, as you know, was a very well-established team, and so did Reed. And that's part of what's good about Riddle is that he already had chemistry with Reed, and Reed had a little bit of time to adjust to Sharx before Riddle came in. So you have the chemistry between those two. You bring in Reed, he gets kind of acclimated with the rest of the boys here, and then you have Riddle who already knows Reed, and Reed can kind of help him with that transition. So it was all a pretty simple changeover.
So without that Mira, obviously you won't be having that major amounts of control onto that A site, but you will most likely be seeing that Maestro cam just kind of going there trying to give as much intel as possible. Without the Mira and just having less site intel, you're going to be seeing obviously more roamers just trying to get as much control of the map as possible, preventing any pressure onto the site. And it's like we said, that's very hard to do against Sharx. They focus on that site right off the bat, and they just force you to rotate. It's going to be difficult for those Bandiesel roamers to kind of make their presence known, and I think the best way to do that is to just play very, very aggressive roam.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of the although Shark's been doing very well, we've been changing out a lot of players recently, and Tugmaster we had before, obviously an extremely good player. If you've seen this league before, you know he's good. And Riddle is coming in with, like I said, that kind of chemistry, and not only the chemistry, but he has better communication with the same gun skills. So I think Sharx is really only going up from here, which is making this game even more difficult for Bandiesel than if it had been the first game. Riddle absolutely decimating the Vigil there, and Box getting the kill onto Smoke. One of those operators you really do want to have late round. Obviously the Lion getting taken out on the Shark side again. Smoke and Lion, two operators that you definitely want to have late game. Thatcher giving that Maestro Cam a little little crouch check, but I think they just took it out there.
And something that's also very interesting to note is you do still have that Legion in play, and he's a great operator late in round, but he's not going to be playing sight. He's going to be playing kind of an offside anchor back in that backstage area, and that's going to stop him from getting a lot of traps down, and obviously he's going to have to rotate now, so it's going to be all up to the roamers here, really. The Quackers, who could find a lot of picks here. It's going to be slowly going into meeting. Shots are going to be coming out there from the Buck. The call-out's going to be happening, so there goes this surprise factor. Quackers, it's all up to your gun skill now. You're against 4 highly skilled Sharks players. Yep, smart thing to do is just to rotate back. 1 minute here, and again, so much focus onto that site. This is exactly what the Sharks offense wants to do. Is Jewel gets a great kill there onto the Legion, so it's going to be all up to Gucci here. One Legion is going to be going down. He does have the intel now, but is it going to be enough for him to clutch a 3v1? This is going to be very, very hard for him. They know exactly where he's going to be rotating out of, and as well as a Glaz just riddling shots into that hallway. Good luck trying to rotate, and Gucci goes down. Sharks winning their first attacking round.
Was that a riddle pun there? Is that what you were going for?
I didn't. Wait, what did I say? I didn't even notice.
You said he was riddling shots, and that was a riddle.
Oh, dude, I didn't even know. I didn't even know.
I was about to be really disappointed, but you did that accidentally, so I'll give you a pass on that one.
I didn't.
But as you can see, excellent use of the Glaz there. If Sharks really don't like playing against it, but they will absolutely use it to the fullest of the advantage that it gives them. Man, I trip over. Where's there for a second? But as you saw on that last defense, a lot of people will really go for that hard meeting hall hold. And they'll reinforce both those sides, and they didn't. Bandiesel didn't do that, and because of that, as you saw, Legion tried to peek him, but Buck opened that wall and was able to get a sightline all the way from classroom. He had to go to the other side if he wanted to rotate out there, but I think he did kind of do the smart thing and running away or rotating through that meeting hall hatch. But as you can tell, it didn't really not too much.
I'm still low-key caught up on that whole kind of riddle pun there. I'm very proud of that, even though I didn't know enough. I'm very proud of that one. I'm gonna put that one in the sketchbook. I'm gonna write that one down as great day riddle pun.
Oh boy. I think you see here with Bandy. I'm trying to move on. I can't do that. You see here with Bandiesel kind of going for a standard meeting hall hold. Not too much ingenuity, really just kind of a ranked thing, but sometimes ingenuity is bad. You saw Xeno use their hold. You were on Xeno, but
it was interesting
there when I think that was the worst idea hold I've ever seen. They boxed themselves in sight. They made it so that there was only one way to peek into that A bomb site, and they didn't have a mirror to be able to support themselves because it was banned. And I think they said, you know what, we're just going to try it anyway. And, they were, the opposing team, Seduction, was able to just hold from hatch and deny the rotate was an easy plan. So luckily we're not seeing that here. That was what I call an elementary school siege. Maybe we're a bit more than that here.
Yeah, definitely is, trying to be a little bit of a flip side tactic there, just trying to throw in something that is completely out of the picture. But obviously it was more of a kind of just absolute fail instead of a flip side tactic, as Vigil's just gonna be running out and his box tries to prep the grenade, and actually a kill from the grave is gonna be taking Gucci down. So even with Box out of the picture, he's still gonna be getting kills. That one is clip worthy. Great play there from Box, and good kill there from Gucci as well. Yeah, that's very, very much so a refrag.
Yeah. I really had to bring up the Xeno thing there. Sorry, buddy. When you make dumb mistakes, you gotta be. But it's all a learning experience. But makes it for some good siege watching.
Oh, of course. Just trying to keep it entertaining for the viewers. That was the objective. Come on now. I don't know if you meant to do this, but you said refrag, and it was a kill with a frag grenade.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. All right. I'm glad we're on the same page here.
Kill onto Vega there as the Legion, again, one of those operators they've been having for a long time. I'm very interesting to see that they did not bring a smoke. Maybe they're thinking that the Echo can do this whole job there, but they had the Echo off-site on the back stairs. So curious to see kind of what that was going to do, but nope. Echo got killed, and then Ella getting the frag onto Jules and Thatcher, but Thatcher's already done his job. Where, if you talk in terms of trades, losing that Echo compared to that Thatcher, really a much bigger loss of utility on the defender side. You see Riddle and Clicks able to finish out the round for the attackers, and that is round 2 for Sharx.
And something that's very interesting to note, is just like kind of looking at the play from Sharx so far, is when they push into sight, the way they push into it, the just the sheer amount of numbers they have, you're looking at that clock and you're expecting, oh, it's probably like 30 seconds left. They can't have a lot of time. They've gotten so much control of the map. They've gotten so much control of the site. They've had to have eaten up a lot of their time in the round. But that's not always the case, because at Sharx, they somehow have gotten so much map control, have gotten so much site control, and they still have, 1 minute 20 seconds, 1 minute 30 seconds, sometimes even 2 minutes left. And that's kind of what's been the difference. It's been putting Bandiesel kind of on their back heels a little bit. They've been pinned up against the wall, and Sharx are just picking them off one by one.
Absolutely. I don't know a ton about, the individual Bandiesel players, but, I do know that, Sharx has been around for a while, and I think because, they know what to expect. They know where people are going to go without, always having to drone people out. Do they drone people out? Of course. That's where you go back to talking about the basics, having to be so essential. But, I think they know, they have a pretty good idea of what the enemy's going to do, regardless of, kind of what their strats are. Because there's some stuff, roamers being on site by a minute, things like that. Being able to set up crossfires and being ready for late round flanks and all that kind of stuff that, Sharx is very vigilant on being aware of those things. And because of that, I think that's why they have so many people left alive. It's not because, well, I mean, it can be where they, win gunfights where, the other players wouldn't. But, I think that, Sharx is ready for things that Bandiesel maybe not be. And I think that all comes down to, the absurd amount of practice they've been doing. But I also think, it comes down to the fact that, the communication between the players. And I think, Kickstar has said this many, many times, and I totally agree. You have strategy, you have communication, and, you have your gun skill. And, if you don't have one of those, you can't. You're not really going to win the game. And I think Sharx has a really good balance of that right now.
As Gucci, though, is going to be able to get the kill on the Clicks once again. That Lion has been caught out very, very early on and multiple times in rounds. As I see Jaeger running a suppressor on his gun. Very interesting style of muzzle there, and that's a lot of people probably will not enjoy that. But Box, though, is going to be able to gain the late refrag there with the Yin. And it's going to be the roamer off the board. It actually was a Doc roamer down in kitchen. A little bit of an odd play.
Doc cannot heal a headshot.
Yeah.
He gave it a go, but maybe not so much. You see the Ying out here on Oregon. It seems like Ying has played on this map more than perhaps. Kind of interesting. Really good for taking that B site, things like that. But it's interesting to see Sharx take the Ying. I don't think I've seen that too much.
As Jewel, though, is able to get a kill on the Beta, but quickly traded out there as Box is going to be taken down. As Gucci gets a great kill. Is not going to push that Thermite onto the balcony. Would have been a great little three-piece there. Reed is going to be able to get a kill onto Gucci. So it's down to a 2v2. And like I said, it's those fast pushes. 1:30 left with 6 operators off of the board. You're not expecting that at all, but that's just kind of how this game has really gone. As Rook unsuspectingly has a player right above his head. And if he just decides, he won't. And Reed is going to be pushing into very, very slowly. The Echo is going to be calling it out. Is going to be hearing the explosion from downstairs, though. So Reed is going to know that somebody has to be pushing from that flank. And just then, Rook is going to be shooting through that floor, but it's going to be just a little bit too late. And still, 1 minute left here. It's looking very, very good for both teams.
Yeah, Rook getting the kill onto the Glaz here now. Thermite, I was about to say Thatcher. Thermite has somebody on both sides and gets downed. He's going to give his teammate the kill there. What a nice guy. And they're going to go ahead and get the defuse for a now 2-1, still in favor of Sharx.
Yep, still in favor of Sharx here, and I still want to say the confidence is in favor of Sharx as well. Yes, that was a huge round for Bandiesel. Yes, they played very, very well. Great defensive hold, and they actually, Rook roaming was actually, I think, the thing that kind of changed it all, which is something I don't think I would ever expect to say. But it was just all around great play there from Bandiesel. Confidence still a little bit in favor of Sharx. Obviously, they have the round in hand. But Bandiesel, that helps a little bit.
I love the politeness at the end of the round there, Echo got the down, and
sure.
Rook was, I'm not taking this. I don't need the padding to my my kills there. So kind of just love how that happens. Teammates just being nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of the scoreboard, there it is. If you're curious, see Sharks pretty even across the board with Riddle 4-1, top fragging right now, and then Gucci above that with 5, but very top heavy on the scoreboard
Yeah.
for Bandiesel there.
Very top heavy here for Bandiesel. I mean, you're going to expect that the two operators that are going to be at the two players that will be at the top are going to be your roaming operators. So you kind of want to see that they're going to be your fraggers. You don't want to see you'd love to see your anchors getting a lot of kills as well. But I mean, if the roamers are doing all of the hard work, then I mean, if I'm an anchor, I'm living my happy life. The best round for an anchor is if they never see anyone and they win the round and they stay alive. That just points to great roam play. So you're expecting those fraggers, those kind of roamers to have those amount of frags, but just the fact that they haven't been winning these rounds, they've kind of been inviting people into sight a little bit too often. It's just not enough. There's got to be a little bit more frag potential there down on site.
Yeah, you always have to remember that, there are a lot of, I see a lot of, I mean that very lightly, differences between competitive and ranked play. And, in ranked, the job of the roamer is really to get kills. Waste time, yes,
comp is completely
definitely. Yeah, and competitive, it's just to waste time.
Yeah.
And so, do you expect your roamers to get kills? I mean, yeah, you would hope so, right? But, if a roamer can, peek guy, shoot him a couple times, and then kind of get out of the way before he's shot back and make the enemy look for him and waste time doing that, that's much more effective than really getting the kill. So, it's all about balance. Like goes back to strategy versus gun skills and frags. And sometimes you do need to just frag out, but it's not always the case.
It kind of goes back to the very, very old saying of quality versus quantity. You want a quality roam. You don't need the quantity of the kills to do that, and that's just solely down to the fact: can you just waste the time of the attackers? And if you're doing that, you're doing your job. If you die, but there's 30 seconds left, you played a great roam. As Jaeger is going to be able to get 1, but not able to get 2. Great peek there from Gucci. And with that suppressor, I mean, you got to be thinking, if he had that thing off, I mean, you could have probably gotten 2 there.
I mean, you never know. Just like Capkin's gun, a lot better. At least personally, I think, and I know a lot of people, suppressor as far as recoil goes. Maybe he thinks that Jaeger's the same thing. I know Box and I believe Clicks as well both use Jaeger without a foregrip because they think it works better. So it all depends on your playstyle. As we see, kind of a flurry of frags. We have now Bandit and Vigil down the defending side, and Lion, Thatcher, and Thermite on the attacking side. Clicks as the Lion, really not getting a good go of it. These past couple games, he's getting killed a lot, but you know what? That's okay. They've been getting the rounds off. So, Clicks, I'm sure, has made a contribution towards that.
Yeah, and the one problem though with obviously seeing Clicks come off the board early, you can't use that utility of the E1D, and that's a lot of utility knocked off of the board. We are seeing Riddle being the one, kind of always one of the last operators here. Yes, Glaz, he's probably one of the best fragging operators right next to Blackbeard, but he doesn't have that utility like a Lion has. He can't force people out of their rotations. He can't force people into really bad spots like a Lion can. So Clicks going off the board. Yes, he's still probably making his contribution. His Box, though, is able to trade it up there. So it's still 2v2 with 44 seconds left here. So a lot of time here for the attackers. But, again, not a lot of utility. They just have to hold their ground.
I'm not sure I quite agree with you on when you're talking about Glaz. Yeah, he doesn't utility, but visually rounds, protecting the bomb and whatnot. Now you see a 1v1 Glaz versus the Echo. Echo able to get the kill onto Riddle with that machine pistol there. A little bit better for close range than the scoped Glaz's weapon there.
What were you saying? Because your mic cut out for a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What I was really kind of referring to is, Glaz doesn't have as much team utility as, Lion would, right?
Yeah.
But, if you have a bomb down and you got 2 smokes and you pop, a smoke, and, the defenders can't contest that, pretty much at all. They can spray and hope something hits, but, Glaz is able to hold down, those angles and really just keep the defenders from pushing the bomb at all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the diffuser at all. And if he has 2 smoke grenades, how much time is that off the timer there?
Yeah.
To where, they go from, basically,
and obviously in comp, the bomb diffuser is a lot longer too.
Yeah, but you have it like effective and ineffective time, right? So, basically your defenders have, pretty much all ineffective time while that, smoke is there. Yeah, they can run around, maybe try to pick a frag off somebody who might be in the wrong place, but chances are, once those attackers really lock down for that defense, Glaz is able to waste a lot of time because he's able to counter peek it. You try to peek it and you're dead, and that could be round over.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, Jaeger going down. I think he fell off the roof there.
I think he might have actually just tripped on the stairs. But
Oh, really?
I know I have absolutely no idea what happened to that Jaeger. But very, very tough. 50 health off the board already. That's going to be a difference between winning and losing a gunfight for sure. So that's tough for the Bandiesel team. But they have just won 2 rounds, and they are gaining a lot of momentum back. But because of the new rule set, like I said, it encourages off-site play, and a lot of people enjoy it because it just encourages more competitive play. So we are going to be seeing a rear stage hold here. Not something we normally see. We did see it from Seduction, and Seduction's rear stage hold has been known as actually better than their upstairs hold. Is that going to be the same here from Bandiesel? As just looking away.
He just misses it. That's amazing how close that is sometimes when, of course they don't know. That's about, rewatching the VOD.
Yeah.
So they're going to see it like not even a quarter of a second, and he would have seen him there. I mean, that's good timing on the part of Sharx. I'm not sure if that was clicks, but, just knowing his history, I assume it was, yeah. I think that boy needs to start playing Montana a little bit more.
Yeah, just someone with a shield protecting your face. Maybe a Blackbeard, but I think Blackbeard, is he banned? Yeah, Blackbeard's banned. So, yep, definitely a Blitz, maybe a Monty. But, push coming in here from the master bedroom, just trying to get control of upstairs, then pushing that rear stage is definitely the objective here of Sharx right now, as they do have complete control of the south side of the building of upstairs. And now are going to be slowly making their way onto that rear stage area. Glaz is going to be holding down this main hall, watching any rotates. This is a great spot for a Glaz and a Blackbeard. Sometimes you see them in garage, sometimes you see them on the main entrance. Either way, doing their job, blocking those rotates.
Yeah, kind of the funny thing with rear stage and watchtower is that because it's so, rarely used, a lot of people won't know how to attack it. And, I'm not sure that'll be the case for Sharx. I really have no idea either way, but I do know that it can be more difficult. Box getting downed, I believe, by the bend there, and Chul as the Thatcher getting fragged. Now we have Jaeger on extremely low health. I don't think they know Buck is downed, or else they might start throwing stuff up there. Now Thermite going for the revive there.
Yeah, like you said, you don't know. You don't have the points, obviously. In competitive play, you can't know if a player's down. So I think they didn't necessarily know Buck was kind of holding on for his life. So that's why I don't think we see an attempt to just frag him out. So it is a 4v5 here, and this is probably one of the only attacks we've actually seen Sharx. They've really kind of slowed down. They've kind of froze here a little bit. They're making their way into the site, but a lot slower than what we've normally seen from them. And that's pointing to a really good hold here from Bandiesel. Again, like you said, could be down to the fact that it's on a little bit of a different site. It's a lot harder to push this site than others because just the how many times we've really just never seen it. It's just the fact that it's so different from a lot of other things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it just comes down to the fact. Oh, now I'm sorry. Glaz getting to a gunfight there. Not sure with who on the backside of Meeting Hall, losing a bit of health there. But yeah, I mean, I think it just comes down to the fact that since so few people play it, not everybody knows how to attack it. Now a flurry of kills there. Jaeger getting 2 onto Clicks and Reed, and Bandit getting 1. Riddle getting the refrag on a Gucci, and then Matronaut getting the pistol kill onto Riddle.
And what I'm kind of seeing here from Bandiesel is they've gotten their first lead, and I think the way they did it was they said, you know what, we're not going to outstrat these guys. We can't outstrat Sharx. They have just been playing with their mind a little bit better than us right now. Let's play it like Latin America. Let's go for frags, let's go for flanks, let's go for crossfires, and it's worked really well for them. They've done that. This entire defense, obviously, now having to rotate back and attack. Could we see some similar play, maybe rushing, just kind of getting inside their face? Obviously, the operator lineup doesn't point to that, but we could still see something along those lines. But we're really just seeing Bandiesel right now. They're saying, you know what, let's let our frag potential take over, and let's have Sharx. They can outstrat us as much as they want, but in the end of the day, who's going to be able to win that gunfight?
I think it's kind of funny you say that because, the only person on Bandiesel that's really been able to say that he's, I guess now Bailey Pratt's kind of moved way up there, but, Gucci, I think, did very well in frags last game, but very similar scoreboard. Shark kind of coming out below right now in frags. But I think, like you said, Shark's strategy is been winning them, rounds right now. But I think that now that they're on defense, I don't think they can really rely on that as much.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, with Shark's strategy, you can't...
Wait. But just for clarification, you don't think Bandiesel can rely on that as much, correct?
Well,
or
no,
Sharks?
I'm saying that before they could just rely on fragging because they
Okay,
didn't have
yeah,
to
yeah,
worry
yeah.
too much about
Okay,
strategy
yeah, we're on the same page. Okay.
on defense, but on now that Sharks is on defense, a lot of a lot of what defense is strategy,
Strategy,
and
exactly. Okay.
so they're gonna have to it's gonna sound kind of dumb, but out strategize Sharks when on their attacks.
Yeah.
So just out fragging isn't necessarily gonna work.
On defense, out fragging is a lot easier because the attacking team, there's not as many just set strats for an attacking side. Whereas when you go on defense, it's all strats. Where am I going to be at this time? Where should I put my reinforcement? Where should I do this? Where should I do that? So it's a lot more mind games when you're on the defensive end of things, and I think it's going to be very hard, like you said, for Bandiesel to frag out because we've seen how strong the Shark strategy has been. It can work on attack, like we've said. I don't necessarily know it's going to work on, but actually, great start there as Big Prez is going to be taking down Clicks once again. Clicks going down very, very early. He's definitely struggling a little bit this match. Continues to be one of the first operators off of the board, so great start there for Bandiesel.
Yeah, absolutely. And a defense is all about funneling where you want your attackers to come from. You put a reinforcement here because you don't want to push there, and that's kind of what it's all about. And Clicks, I think, I think he might. Here's the thing about Clicks. He's a very, very aggressive player, very good player, has very good aim. Jaeger's one of his best operators, but I think right now maybe taking it slower would be a bit better because he has been dying pretty early on I wouldn't, maybe not a majority, but quite a few of these rounds. So I think and also knowing him, he gets very frustrated with himself and he's not doing well. So I think maybe Sharks has to adjust their own strategy from what we're talking about strategy so much. Maybe adjust it to maybe put him on a an anchor to where you might have Jewel possibly go out and go and try to frag as a roamer.
Yeah, just force him to kind of hit that hard reset, force him to slow down, maybe just stay alive a little bit longer. That is probably the best solution for Clicks right now. Is he, like you said, he's just struggling a little bit. And
yeah, absolutely.
It takes really good players and a really strong team to notice that and to say, you know what, just take a breather, take a second, let's figure this thing, let's put it back on track. Because losing Clicks that early on, a lot of these rounds, has definitely put Sharks at an early disadvantage, and they got to address it soon.
Absolutely, and I think on the other hand, teams that can kind of put the pride aside and say, hey, I'm not doing, help me out. I think that also is very important, in a team being effective, because if a guy who's not doing incredibly well the whole game just says, no, I got this, he's really hurting his team at that point.
Yeah. As we do see just 38 seconds left, not a lot of site control. Bandiesel has a lot of map control, but almost zero pressure on site. Everybody on the Sharks team has really just funneled back into site, except Box here on the Bandit is going to be rotating back up on those main stairs. So the plant could be potentially coming down here from Quakers, but is going to be getting shot down from below. The diffuser is actually accidentally going to be dropped. That's a lot of health and a lot of time wasted there for the Capitao. Is actually going to be losing the diffuser as well. Reed and Box able to get a frag, and just like that has made it a 3v3 make that, as Gucci is going to be finding the kill onto Reed. Gucci going to be finding a knife onto Jewel, but with 4 seconds left, you're going to be giving this to the defensive team, as Bandit just has to stay alive, and that's exactly what he does. Hides in that master bedroom, and what he did, Box there, he played slow and he stayed alive and did it exactly the way his team needed him to do that. And
yeah, you can even see kind of how you can see the point in Box's brain when he went, I should probably kind of ready to go for that. As soon as it was a 1v, I believe 2, he kind of took a half step and kind of slowed down a bit, just to let that timer run out. And I think Bandiesel giving if they had a bit more time, they definitely could have won that.
Yeah.
But Sharks did a great job of slowing him down, and that's what what the roamers' jobs are. And Box did that very effectively. Although Clicks died, every second counts. So it's all part of that whole process.
And time management is probably one of the biggest things you need to address as an attacking team, because there's many new teams, many kind of just, I guess you could say, rookie teams coming into this scene. Their biggest issue is they probably have great gun skill. They probably are good just kind of one-on-one and things like that. But the moment they realize that the timer is slowly ticking down, they only have 10 seconds to push, they start to panic, and then they obviously are going to lose that round. So time management is huge for teams on the attacking end. They want to get control of the map, and instead of focusing on that roam too much, they need to say, all right, we've done our best with the roam. Now we got to focus a little bit on site, and I don't think that's what Bandiesel did there. They got a lot of control of the map, but then they just started almost walking around that control they had and just claiming it as their territory, where they don't have time for that. They need to get their they got to get their control, and then they got to push on site. Put that focus on site. It puts the defenders in a bad position, puts the attackers in a good position, and you can easily then win that round. That's something we just didn't see there from Bandiesel. They lost time, they wasted time, and the Sharks capitalized on it.
Yeah, absolutely. You talked about them having good map control in that last little bit. I think towards the end it kind of fell apart. You saw Bach kind of roaming around there freely, really not being contested at all. No traps, no by traps I mean like claymores.
Yeah.
No intel, from drones being placed back there where dead teammates could be like, hey, he's flanking you. And it really cost them the round. So, I think might have gotten a bit eager there because of their situation, but sometimes eagerness can definitely kill you.
As we do see Box again with that bandit just going to be roaming here in that meeting hall area. Meeting hall is huge point of attack, and you need control of meeting hall if you are the defensive team, and you need control of meeting hall if you are an attacking team. And it's basically just a melting pot for a lot of gunfights and just a lot of hostility, where you're going to see attackers come in and defenders just meet them with a flurry of bullets. So there's definitely going to be a fight breaking out here soon, because Bandiesel need to get control of it very quickly.
Absolutely. And you kind of think about where a lot of competitive teams think about maps and how they compartmentalize, or the smaller bits. When you think about it, meeting hall is almost half the map. So having control of meeting hall is a very substantial portion of the map, and denies a lot of rotates, which is very important. You see now the power of glass kind of coming out here. I think, not quite sure where he is. Clicks getting killed on the flank, but Bandit still in the meeting hall there. Another smoke goes out. I think he was going to go for the peak, but now hearing the smoke probably won't. Goes for the C4. Is he able to find him? No, I think it just came a little bit short.
Yeah, just came a little bit short there. Montronic is going to be pushing Box as he's going to be distracted from that glass. Can't peek up from that smoke. Great crossfire established there from Bandiesel. Very, very smart way to clear out the roamers, and just like that, they have complete meeting room control, a lot of map control, and everybody has been put back down to site for this Sharks team. And like I said, when focus gets turned on the site, when you are a defender, that is a recipe for disaster, and that's just a lot of pressure put onto you. So great roam clear there for Bandiesel. Now they just got to manage their time a little bit better, possibly get a plant down, and then go for those frags.
Yeah, especially, with the Ying still there, and, Jewel is on the Echo there, so we might be able to stop his plant here, but the Ying is definitely a huge one. The Glaz, Doke be able to provide additional smokes, and, the phone calls there. Oh no, Glaz able to get going to go Riddle gets to refrag, and then Gucci is able to get Reed, and Thermite is able to get Rill for the win going to the attackers. But what I was saying is that there's basically a lot of utility at the end of the round there, where they can really make it difficult for the defenders to counter the plant. Yeah,
a lot of things popping off there at the tail end of that match, and Bandiesel have kind of found themselves in a spot where they're going neck and neck with Sharks right now, and I don't think that's something a lot of people didn't expect. Obviously, coming out of that first round map of Consulate and just seeing how strong Sharks was, and just the lack thereof of skill from Bandiesel, it looked like Sharks were probably just going to steamroll through this thing. But like I said, the snowball effect, that didn't take place here. We're seeing Bandiesel actually have the lead, potentially going on to match point if they win this here, and they've looked just in almost an entirely different team. And like I said, it takes a team, a very, very strong team. It's what separates the good to the great to the absolutely amazing. If you can say, you know what, that round's out, that map's out, hit the hard reset, we got something new ahead of us. And that's exactly what Bandiesel did, and that's why they're kind of finding themselves in a very, very strong position.
Yeah, and like I said before, Sharks did come tonight in ESA, and things like that happen, but I know a bunch of them were really bummed. Curious if any of that stress or whatnot is carrying over to this match here, and maybe kind of.
What was that? Your mic cut out again.
They had a match last night, and they lost the match last night, and I think maybe something that anxiety or stress from losing last night is coming back and affecting their performance today.
Yeah, definitely things like that can happen. It can kind of get stuck in your head, just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It happens with a lot of professional teams, happens with basketball, football, esports, anything really. Just having a tough loss, it's going to affect you the next day, and we could really be seeing that here. It didn't seem apparent on Consulate, but maybe just a little bit overconfident, and then realizing Bandiesel could take this one here. Maybe they're starting to lose it now. Maybe they're starting to get kind of that fear and that taste in their mouth that they could lose this. Or maybe they're just saying, you know what, let's shape it back up, stop being overconfident, let's just end this thing here. And they might start taking rounds away from Bandiesel as we speak.
Yeah, absolutely. think it's kind of interesting. Gucci has been running suppressors on literally everything.
Yeah.
If you notice, he is on Buck right now, and kind of curious what's going on with that. Maybe he's just trying to be extra sneaky, but you don't see that too common.
As we actually see, almost, I think there was another player, I think it was Vega, if I'm not mistaken, was running suppressor as well. So just maybe a very, very sneaky team, as we do see Riddle here in this kind of Pengu spot, as I like to call it, as this is where you saw that Pengu absolutely amazing 4K against, I think it was Font. And it's just a strong spot for Legion, as he can just quickly peek out and just prevent any push downstairs there. As we do see Gucci going onto that backside. Again, though, not a lot of map control really granted here for Bandiesel, and a lot of time has been ticked off of the clock. So it's looking really, really strong here for the defensive team of Sharx.
Yeah, you kind of see here the attacker's really not making a whole lot of progress in terms of kind of map control. Nobody's died, and you're almost halfway. The round timer here. As I say that, though, Gucci getting the frag onto Box Bandit. Now, I believe Clix is the only one left on Rome.
Yeah, Clix is going to be on that Rome. He's been struggling quite a lot lately. This is his moment to shine. He has to get a frag here. He needs to kind of just trade this up as soon as possible. He doesn't want to give Bandiesel the momentum they need to send this on to match point, because I think if we see Bandiesel take match point here, Shark's probably going to try to shape it up, but I don't necessarily know if it's going to be enough. So we have to see strong play here from the defensive team of Sharks. The smokes are going to be going down. Jewel on his Echo. Great smoke there, just preventing any type of push. Candelas are going to be coming out, so the flashes are going to be coming down. His Glad's actually going to be hot dropping into the site. Yin's coming out as well, even more. That's going to flash the Glad's, leave him visually impaired. Clix is able to find a kill onto Gucci. That's going to be a huge trade for them. But Riddle is going to be going down, so it is still a 3v4. The Diffuser is going to be going down, so great kill there from Reed. The smoke is proving to be such an important operator, and like that operator always does, is huge for plant denial. And Reed and Jewel are able to get 2 huge kills. It's going to be all up to Vega now. Is going to have to get a 3K at least, as he does kill Jewel, who is just caught looking at his pesky little phone. It's going to be all up to Reed and Vega.
Yeah, I think Reed's definitely going to try to back off, turn that phone off, so won't necessarily know what he is, but Thermite stepping that Legion trap, that's a sound cue. Reed getting ready for the frag there, gets the frag onto Thermite. Never challenge a shotgun, you'll usually lose.
Yeah.
Not quite sure you knew that would happen, but Reed with the good kill there. That's the thing I love about Siege, really, is that you never know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You can be down as many rounds as you can count, and come back from it. So I think Sharks definitely not as dominant as they were in the first map, but they're not going down without a fight.
Yeah, of course. I mean, a team as skilled as Sharks, you're never expecting them to kind of just start throwing rounds. And that's why we're seeing just, again, back and forth play here. Bandiesel versus Sharks. It's shaped in from a match that everybody was just thinking, like, hey, you know what, Bandiesel is just getting stomped here on Consulate. And it's now gone into a match where it's thinking, wait a second, could we see Sharks actually lose their second map here? And that's not even second loss. That's not second round or anything. It's just second map. They've only lost one map before this, and that was against Runic on Coastline. And something that's actually interesting to note as well is Sharks in league matches have not played an Oregon very, very often. And it could just be the fact that this has been a little bit unfamiliar for them. But again, that's just kind of odd to say because it is Oregon. Everybody is very familiar with Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, it's been around, as long as Siege has, so I wouldn't assume that it was something that'd be unfamiliar with, but you never know. Like I said, people have bad days, and people have good maps and bad maps, and maybe this isn't one of Sharks' dominant map like you saw on Consulate. But then again, when Runic beat Sharks on Coastline at the time was supposedly their most dominant map, so
yeah.
You never really know. Depending on how a team attacks and defends, it can really change up how you play, and that's the beauty of Siege. You really gotta be able to adapt, and adaptability, I think, is the most important thing.
Yeah, it really is probably the most fluid game on the market right now. I would say CSGO and Overwatch are close behind. Definitely, I think, just the way Siege is played, and especially with the new format of 5 offense, 5 defense, it's been created into a game where you never can count a team out no matter what. And obviously, I think a lot of people started counting Bandiesel out, and this is a great answer for them. Even if they go down in this map, if they go down and it's a 2-0, I don't think that 2-0 really gives the whole story, as they've put up a great fight here against Sharx, and it's been an absolutely amazing match so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it's you can't always rely on just numbers to determine how good a team is. Maybe a team's playing, teams that are very, very good, where one team, they're winning a bunch, but just might not be as good. So
yeah,
it's important to look at how the team plays, how they think, what they're doing, to kind of judge how a team does. You see Box kind of in that large watchtower. You see in Pro League, that large watchtower is usually the first thing that the attackers will go for. It's a big portion of the map. Black control, you see Gucci getting killed in a box. We're trying to get the kill onto Clicks, and Riddle getting the frag onto Bailey as the Ying. But again, very important operator to get killed, whereas Bandit and Jaeger a bit more trivial.
Yeah, we see Box with the Bandit and Jaeger. Those are two roamers off the board. The only roamer left really as a grenade is going to be coming right onto Reed's lap. Unfortunately, he's going to be able to sprint away from that. So that would have almost been 2 nade kills there. But actually, almost main floor control has been completely granted here to the attacking team. The only kind of pivotal point and the object in their way right now will be that pulse of Riddle just sitting here in meeting hall. Hasn't really made his presence known, but that is in his advantage. He's playing very, very patient here and could become an absolute pivotal point in this match if he gets a C4 from below right when they're about to plant. So that's exactly why you see Pulse right now kind of playing a little bit passive.
Absolutely. You see Sledge getting down there by Reed and then getting the kill there. Finka now down by Jewel and then executed. Now we have Capitao and Thermite in a 3v2 situation, both in the master bedroom. I think Sharx now, you saw him spot with them with the cam there. They know where they are. I think they're getting ready to counter that push.
Yeah, as we actually see, Vega is going to be trying to go for a long rotate back onto White Stairs. He doesn't have a lot of time, and this separates the two operators. There's going to be absolutely zero attempt at a refrag, as it's going to be now all up to Quackers, as he's going to be slowly moving in, trying to watch that peek from the Riot Shield. It is going to be a 3v1 and 13 seconds left. You are definitely putting this all in favor here of the defensive team. It looks like he might just save the op, but Riddle says, no thanks, let me come right behind you and put a bullet in your skull.
Yeah, definitely very preoccupied with that shield there, but, that's okay. It was a, 1v3 situation. Again, very difficult to win, especially with a team like Sharx.
All right, on to match point now. Sharx, they had a little bit of a hiccup so far on Oregon. Could this be where they just say, you know what, let's wrap it up here and let's go home, boys. Let's make it a 2-0, or could we just see that back and forth pattern continue? Something that's been interesting to note is actually Castle coming out for the first time, if I'm not mistaken, and just as I say that, he is going to be clicked off, but given to Riddle there. So Castle coming out for the first time could potentially be 6-picked here, but that would definitely slow down the attack, and with already how slow the attack has been from Bandiesel, that really could be just the major operator that just pushes it over the edge.
Yeah, here's the thing. The way that I think, not only us, but the viewers can see Sharks' kind of mindset right now is you look at who Box picks for an operator. Is he playing Tachanka right now? No, he's not, which means, I think he's a bit more worried. Trying to play a bit more seriously. You don't see the Cav, you don't see the Tachanka coming out. And that kind of shows that they're really trying to end here, with the rear stage and watchtower pick. And I don't think up to this point we've seen Sharks play on this site.
We have not. No, we have not. We have never seen Sharks on this site. We've actually never seen a lot of teams on this site, and just it all comes down to the fact we had that rule change. It encourages a lot of different site play. You're going to start seeing some odd sites get thrown into the mixer here, and it's very, very interesting to watch. Obviously, rear stage is probably the more preferred over kitchen, as kitchen just you can invite people in. It's just going to be an absolute just kind of shredder of kills for the defensive team. So, for the offensive team. But rear stage, there is potential for winning this one, and there's a lot of strats that can be pulled out, as we did see Seduction probably had one of the more, developed strats in the league, as a lot of teams, I think, going on to the rear stage. Yes, they have strats, but they definitely won't be as just fine-tuned as maybe the basement or upstairs in Kid's bedroom.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think it's interesting because that watchtower up top, as soon as you gain control of that, you just have a advantage. And so, really kind of holding that is very important on the site. You see Jewel getting the kill onto Ash. as Gucci, their top fragger right now, and just how to say that Jewel getting the kill from the top, jumping onto the crossbar there and hopping right down.
Yeah, and that crossbar jump is actually very, very dangerous. Sometimes you do see a lot of players slip off the side and bring them down to about 10 health. But Jewel does it with perfection. Just great parkour from him. As Box is going to be finding himself here in Laundry Room. Possibly go for the flank here very, very early on. It's just 2 minutes in. You won't really be expecting that flank. So it has the element of surprise, but he also has the opportunity to just be very, very patient and wait for that push. And with that castle in play, like I said, it's slowing down that attack very, very much. It's making it very hard for Bandiesel to get any map control, and it's making it very hard for them to get any site pressure as well.
Absolutely. You see Castle in there. I don't think he's really going to peek out. I think he's going to try to play it safe, let the attacker come to him. Really try to just waste as much time as possible. See now Bach kind of repositioning, knowing that Sledge is coming after him. Just misses him there. That's okay. Bach's now kind of repositioning to get the advantage on the attackers.
As we do see the Sledge is going to be coming out here, is going to be catching the castle, facing the wrong way, and just like that, great predetermined Sledge there with the thermite as well. Absolutely great pinch there from the defensive units. Vega is able to hit a great shot there onto Box, who is rotating back from downstairs. So that flank isn't going to be coming out anytime soon. Clicks here, still in meeting hall, is going to be pushed with a flurry of operators. If Clicks goes downstairs and goes all the way back for the major rotate, we could potentially see a 4th, maybe 3K from him if he just plays his cards correctly.
But we do see Thermite kind of sitting there. He's making sure to watch that downstairs. not letting that flank go off. Click's kind of playing the stairs here. I'm not sure if he knows Thermite's there, but as he hears that barbed wire, he'll Q, be able to turn that around. Now we have, I believe that's Sledge pushing that hole there, trying to frag out Clicks, just misses it, and they're really trying to get him out, devoting a lot of resources to that.
As we do see the Thermite slowly pushing up, and Clicks is not actually going to hear it, and that sound cue is not going to be enough, but time is ticking down. It is all up to the smoke here, is able to get one. This is who you want in a late round situation. The plant is going to be coming down. The butt of the diffuser is going to be taking it out, and just like that, the slight leg poking out there from, I think it was the Sledge, is going to be the difference of a round 1 and a round loss. And that really just sums up the entire game there. Just how close it really came down to. The final kill really was just inches. And
Absolutely.
Just getting that diffuser down was huge.
That's definitely when you don't want to look like Nicki Minaj with Sledge's booty sticking out there. But as you can see, Shark's a bit more consistent on the kills across the board, but Bandiesel kind of out-fragging him on this map, but Shark's strategy really able to pull that out.
Yeah, and there it is then, 2-0 there for the Sharks. 2-0 there for the Sharks team, as GGs are going to be coming out from both of the teams. And just absolutely great play from both of these teams. The 2-0 scoreline, like I said, doesn't say the full story. It was a close game all around, but unfortunately Sharks were able to come out on top, and Bandiesel just looks like kind of the team that was just outplayed here, but that wasn't always the story. But it does just come down to the fact Sharks have been dominant. They've been the strongest team in the league. They continue to do so, and they've got to be the most feared. I think Complex definitely could make a run for Sharks' money. I don't necessarily know if they're going to be strong enough. Obviously, Complex are a fairly new team, but they do have the fragging ability. They do have the strong team. They do have a strong composition. We're just going to have to wait till playoffs and see what those teams do when they go head-to-head. But Sharks, still the top dog, and it looks like they want to stay there.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about, it doesn't tell the full story having, all of, just the numbers. But on the other hand, being able to close out those rounds, I think, the fact that Sharks is able to get, both of those rounds and be able to finish them out well, does show that they're the dominant team in this position.
All right, guys, that's going to be it then for us today. We are going to be it's not going to be it from us today. I just lied to you guys. I'm sorry, but we will be going with the post-game interview here very, very quickly. We'll be back as soon as possible. Make sure you stay tuned, and we can get a peek inside the head of the Sharks players and how they came out on top of that win. All right, guys, that is going to be it for the Sharx versus Bandiesel game, and unfortunately, the score didn't update, so that's going to be that. As you know what, we've actually never had this before, but cat cam. My cat just walked in. So cat cam here. This is obviously something we see on Siege After Dark with my dog, but my cat just walked in, so you know, I thought I'd just do it for the interview. But obviously, the score didn't update there on the right side. I actually can get that for you guys right now. So don't you worry, that's going to be changed here in 3, 2, wait for it, 1. Blammo, 2-0 there for Sharx as they take down Bandiesel and continue their unbeaten streak. But now it's sometimes everybody's favorite part and sometimes everybody's least favorite part. But we are going to be going into the post-game interviews here with Sharx, and let's see what was going through their head. To go and join their call real quick, we'll see what was popping.
Yeah, actually.
Hello?
Like, but without the smoke, though.
Hello.
All right, guys. So I'm just gonna get right into it then.
Hold on 1 second. I need to turn you down.
Okay.
Hold on
Okay.
1 second.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna get right into it. Going into this match, you guys are undefeated, but you did come off of a loss on the ESA game. Did that ESA game have an effect on your play today?
I'd say not at all. Whenever we play, we just hit that reset button.
Yeah.
And we just go into it with a fresh mindset. So I'd say in no way that negatively impacted this team.
Yeah, that's gonna be a no from me too.
All right.
I was pretty mad at everybody.
This is the second question. The second question I have is, first map, obviously we saw Box pull out the very, very famous Tachanka plays, and it definitely just showed how confident you guys were. But then going on to that second map and then seeing that Bandiesel were kind of giving you guys a run for your money, what did you do to finally close it out there?
Well, we just had to step it up. You know, we saw that, you know, it's their map pick after all, and we were like, you know what, we'll give them a few rounds. We'll give them the opportunity to show us their strats, you know, and then we'll just we'll pull out the big tower and we'll just give it to them. And I figured that sort of mentality and that confidence really puts us ahead.
All right. That's good. That's gonna be all my questions. But Wolf, do you have any?
I mean, yeah, not too much. You know, you guys, first map absolutely dominated. Really, really not too much to answer for there. But you know, second, I'm just curious. You know, I came in and was asking you. You know, Clicks, you seem to die fairly consistently at the beginning of every single round, both on attack and defense.
That is true.
What was kind of going on in your head? Were you think you're getting overconfident, or why do you think that was happening?
My mom brought me some McDonald's, man. I was hungry.
Greasy fingers.
Always.
That can do it.
Understandable.
Slave to the food. I get it.
I mean, I can answer that question a little bit too. I mean, we often let Clicks die early, and that allows them to settle into a fake confidence. And
We plan it out, right?
He's just like a big bait for us, basically.
Here's the thing.
The masturbator, if you.
Riddle, I'm not sure I was really, I'm an analyst, I know a little bit, but I'm not sure I was really ready for the 4D chess you guys were really playing, throughout this game. So, congratulations to you guys on the win, and looking forward to see you guys, continuing on with, the unconventional psychological warfare, on some of the other teams.
All right.
Love it.
All right, then that's going to be it, guys. Thanks for tuning around and great win out there. And let's hope that streak continues for you guys and you go undefeated into playoffs.